Can you hear me okay?
What up, man?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So let me explain a few things here. I wasn't able to do this the last time you guys were talking about this, but so about, gosh, is it now 2 weeks ago? I think it was Tuesday of last week. You guys had Brandon Carter on. Is that with Derek Moneyberg? Or was that Monday? Monday. Sorry, let me get my camera back up there. So Monday, you guys were talking to Brandon Carter. One of the things that Brandon was talking about was you got to love money. You got to be on top of your game. And I love Brandon Carter, by the way. I think he should be a stand-up comedian. I mean, the guy is that funny. He's a great guy, right? But when you guys are on that show and you're talking to him and he's talking about how he doesn't go to Publix, doesn't go grocery shopping for himself. He doesn't go do his own laundry. He doesn't have a car. I mean, it's Brickle White, but he doesn't have like some basic stuff because his philosophy in life is that anything that takes him away from his grind, anything that takes him away from anything that would distract him or that would be.
Someone said Rolo got zero hoes growing up. Can't tell me different. Most of the red pillars have zero hoes, have had zero hoes growing up. Most of these guys on the podcast and stuff like this never got women until they got a little bit of fame. Most of them were living like double lives, man. That dude was out there cucking his wife. What is that? That white dude? Fuck you from the bottom of my heart. Who was that dude? I always forget his name. He's like disappeared now. He was selling some alpha male bullshit. There's so many grifters in this space, man. I've been telling you guys, don't even consider this channel red pill. Always think for yourself. Don't belong to any group because you're going to be labeled guilty by association. We said that way months ago. Jack Murphy, yeah. Straight cucking, dude, selling whatever the fuck bullshit he was selling. And then you had that other dude. Who was that dude that defrauded his own father? He married a 40-plus-year-old woman and was taking care of her single child the whole time, basically telling you guys that any woman over 23 is valueless. Who was that cuck again? I forgot his name. Donovan Sharp. Yeah, there you go. Dude, there's a bunch of fakes like this, and they're all soft as fuck looking. Most of them look like Pillsbury Doughboys. It's pathetic, dude. It's sad because this is a symptom of how lost men are today, that you can't even tell the difference between like somebody who is a theorist, right, regurgitating bullshit, and a practitioner, someone that's lived the lifestyle. The only reason my channel blew up and the shit I talk about is because most of you know, and I've heard the backstory and the stories I've told about my personal experiences. I actually lived through this shit. I was broke in college, smashing girls left and right because I had low self-esteem after a breakup. And I was trying to mend a broken heart by taking the stupid ass advice I was told of, you just need to sleep with enough women, bro, to get over her. You know what I mean? And then I made it my life's mission as a broke college student with no goals ahead of me to just like bag as many bitches as I can, bro. And so I ended up living obviously over in California, smashing chicks that were messing with lawyers, with doctors, with fucking famous R&B artists at the time. It was insane, dude. I'm a broke dude. I'm going to Vegas, doing the craziest shit. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Like the craziest stories. I could bring on friends that have came with me. Well, someone said, well, if you fell in love, that was the problem. Yeah, I did fall in love. That was the problem. That was like my first quote love as a young man. Which is how most people start their quote journey in the red pill, right? Yeah. But most of these dudes are completely out of touch with the game. You couldn't drop them in a club or at a bar or something, let them talk to women. They'll fucking completely fold, or they're too goddamn old, or they don't look attractive to most women, et cetera, dude. Yeah. I don't know. That's what kind of put me off about the community is it was just one too many. Like having one dude grifting, I get it. Yeah, it's popular. There's a lot of money to be made right now. It's mainstream, but that also, unfortunately, when something goes mainstream, a lifestyle movement, an ideology, it gets hijacked. All the grifters and the leeches start coming in. Women are now in the space, which is fucking hilarious. Like people were asking me about certain women in the community. It's like, you know my answer already. Women in this community, if you even have to ask that question, you obviously need to keep learning. It's a joke, dude. Men are listening to fish giving fishing advice. You guys got to go back to the basics.
Financially or mathematically, not a pragmatic choice for him to make as far as like if he's spending time going grocery shopping or going and getting food for himself or whatever else. I'm sure he's like into meal prep and everything else.
So Alex says, also apparently men just cannot control themselves, so they need a vasectomy. Yeah, I think he had some vasectomy tweet that he's probably about to get shredded for. I remember seeing that. We covered this, I think. God, I can't remember the channel. Logic, who's that guy that was trying to build a men's space? Better Bachelor, I believe it was. He was covering that tweet too. I think that was the tweet that was being referenced. Something like that. He also had something dumb about monk mode or something of that nature. I can't remember. I don't keep up with this shit, dude. I purposely do not watch any of this stuff because these guys are mostly regurgitating shit. I'll watch this one because look, it's interesting. It's a conversation, but I'm not listening to dudes talk to women that is going to go out one year and out the other, who are obviously very low value, who had issues in a broken home, who are walking around with trauma, who will not change, who are complete NPCs that are buying into the mainstream narratives. Their phones basically control their thoughts. It absolutely does not do you any positive sort of value to listen to this shit over and over again. Once you get the gist of the game, you have to go out and start practicing it in the real world. To constantly watch men talk to these bozos that are completely clueless, partially because they're young, the other part because they, again, broken home, isn't going to provide much value to you, dude. It's brain numbing. I try to, again, like I tell you guys, podcasts. I was just listening to the podcast with Russell Brand and RFK Jr. because it's interesting as hell. That stuff interests me. The second channel is we're going to get into the bulk of the value content, but let's see how this convo pans out.
Pretty much everything in his life is outsourced, because anything that he would be spending that time himself to go do, he could be losing money doing that at that time. So when I was listening to this and I was thinking about this myself, because I was actually at the same time, I'm like, helping a friend move and all this. And I'm thinking about this. I'm going, you know what? If you want to be a high value man, if you want to get to that apex level as fast as you can, that's it. How is that not the best way to go about it? Okay. So the point of that whole tweet, which was basically a throwaway tweet that everyone started like snowballing into something else. I've got Ben Shapiro coming at me. I got Matt Walsh coming at me. I got Lauren Chen coming at me. I got all these people off of Daily Wire because it was just easy, low hanging fruit for these guys because they think that that's what the fucking manosphere is all about. And it's not. Okay. That was not fucking advice. Everything that is on Twitter is not advice. Okay.
Was that a joke?
No, it was not necessarily a joke, but it's like, let's just say it's a hypothetical, okay? It's showing you. Now,
so what's this timestamp here? 138.54, and what the hell was his tweet? What is he referencing? Okay, here we go. So the quickest path to becoming a high-value man: do not get married, avoid family creation, vasectomy in your 20s. That's a massive L. I mean, come on, dude. You had to be thinking when you wrote this down. Like, just own up to what you said. Lift consistently, eliminate all sedations, learn game and networking, play to your strengths, build wealth, resist easing up on your focus. I mean, these are all mostly good besides the vasectomy part. I've told you guys this plenty of times. The most fulfilling, rewarding, and hardest challenge a man can implore on himself is shepherding a family successfully, passing down your seed, picking the right woman, and leading the family, period. Nothing comes close to that. Fuck the money, the rest of all that on that list. None of that matters if you fail as a father or a husband. When you watch a man walk down the street and he's got his woman next to him and his two little kids, and they're well dressed, well put together, the kids say, "Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Please excuse me." I'm talking about to the T. The wife is right there next to him, being led, completely trusting him to take care of the family. That guy is winning. That guy is winning beyond measure. And he's happier than most men. You're not going to see him on here watching videos about bitches saying how they have 100 body count by 18 and dudes arguing over some tweet. I'm telling you right now, that's the most important thing a man can do. This whole getting money, important for the family. This whole lifting consistently, for your family. Easing up on your focus to resist that, you do that for your family. Learn to game and network, again, because it benefits your family. A lot of these things you do for your family. The massive L here is the vasectomy in your 20s, which is complete antithesis to what everybody is espousing as a high value man. If anything, nature considers you a loser. You're the ultimate loser in nature's eyes if you don't reproduce as a man. There's nuances to that in society, like don't just squirt off in some bozo and start yet another dysfunctional family. That's, again, a ultimate failure on your part. So be very selective with your seed. Pick right and grow strong. Young children, futures of the world, of society. Or you could be this bachelor that, genetic dead end of yourself. You could be the whole bachelor multimillionaire. You could strive for that. Some men use that as a tool to get ahead. It's a great motivator, but I'm telling you, that's an empty lifestyle. Even those men at the top, and I've met plenty of them. I've met men worth hundreds of millions. I've met one billionaire before, and they'll all tell you the same thing. They all have similar regrets. That guy you see that's there with 10 tens, dude, there's deeper issues at play there where they can't, and I don't want to even say commit, but is it settling down? Is it, what name do you want to give for it? Other than, I don't know. What would you call a man that is now 30s plus successful and doesn't want to pass down his lineage, instead wants to wait, wants to mess around, doesn't, I'm waiting for the perfect one, will cope and say, I'm too busy with work. All I do is work. Can't be a family man. Can't do this. I don't know. At my age, and most of the men I hang out with, absolute killers. Some of them fight in the ring. Others are, business moguls in their own right, making multiple millions of dollars, all say the same exact shit. We all look up to our friends in our group that has families, multiple children, successful, lineage passed, is going on vacations, hiking, camping with the kids, little marshmallow, pictures of like marshmallows and fishing with your little boy, fishing with your girl, shit like that. That's incredible, man. I love seeing that shit. I don't give a fuck if you're surrounded by a Ferrari with 10 hoes that you could replace tomorrow from all the Instagram thirst of chicks trying to clout chase. You know what's harder to get? It's harder to get a family with a woman you actually love and children that are well raised than it is to get 100 bitches. I'm telling you, it's not hard to sleep with 100 women when you're on your way doing your job. It is hard to have a successful family, and therefore far more rewarding.
All the rest of the list, you're equating vasectomy to lifting, game, play to your strength, resisting up on easing your focus. The rest of it sounds like general advice.
Okay, well let's say so let me ask you. So is it the vasectomy part that's throwing you off?
Oh yeah, 138. What was the timestamp we were on? So that was his tweet.
And coming at me, I got all these people off of Daily Wire because it was just easy, low-hanging fruit for these guys because they think that that's what the fucking Manosphere is all about, and it's not. Okay, that was not fucking advice. Everything that is on Twitter is not advice. Okay,
was that a joke?
No, it was not necessarily a joke, but it's like, let's just say it's a hypothetical. Okay, it's showing you. Now let me shut up for just fucking 5 seconds. Okay, this is no.
What is that?
What the heck?
Oh my god! Why is he so mad? Oh my god, that was so. Hey, for someone that talks about frame control so hard, way to fail.
But it's like, let's just say it's a hypothetical. Okay, it's showing you. Now let me shut up for just fucking 5 seconds. Okay, this is no fucking joke here because everything that's come out of both of you guys' mouth has been nothing but distraction and misdirection because it's easy fucking clicks for you. So here's the whole thing. When I'm talking about get a vasectomy,
oh my god, frame crumbles in 30 seconds. Fucking hell!
Or don't be concerned with.
I like when he's mad, his glasses get uneven on his nose. You see?
Let him finish. I'm really mad about this, bro.
Shall we keep going? Are we just gonna have jokes thrown in here?
Really heated.
That's giving me Birdman vibes. Is you finished or is you done?
Bruh.
Is that what I get to? Is that what I get to do it? Okay, so here's the deal. When I'm talking about this, when I'm throwing this out there, why wouldn't you do that?
God.
would you not have been more successful, Sneeko, had you not had to go through certain things? If you had a kid right now,
is it advice or not?
You would be playing the game with a handicap. You would be playing the game with your fucking hands tied behind your back.
Okay, so
there are guys right now who I have a lot of respect for, and I'm sure you have a lot of respect for as well, who all have kids, but you know what they try to do? Try to keep it under wraps.
Okay,
try
so
to make sure nobody knows about the fucking kids. Okay.
So it is advice.
So here's okay. First off, this is not fucking advice. Everything that is on my show or is on Twitter is not automatically advice. Now, but here's the thing. You know what you're gonna say, because here's the deal. When I was on whatever podcast I was telling this, I was saying exactly the same thing here. Is that everything that comes out of somebody's mouth on Instagram or on Twitter or on a YouTube, there's no way you can't go on there without somebody going, this is what these guys are saying to do. Because if you have this set automatically, that if it comes out of your mouth, it's automatically advice. It can't just be data. It can't just be statistics. It can't be, nothing can be just delivered sort of like, here's some data for you to look at. Okay. Nothing can be set. Nothing can be given to you without somebody going, well, the reason why you're telling me this is because you're telling me that this is the best way to live my life. Okay. So when I'm watching Brendan Carter and I'm watching all this going on, and I'm looking at like guys that I know and guys that you know as well. And when these are the guys who are like saying, you know, be on your game, do this, do that. They're the ones that are giving this advice. All I'm doing is saying, hey, look, maybe you should not focus on family. Maybe you should not get married. I mean, I don't know why that's big.
It's maybe advice.
I'm not saying it's advice. What I'm saying is that this is so over the fucking top that everybody wants to take it out.
What the hell? How is that not advice? Can anybody explain to me how like a 6-point list isn't in any way advising somebody what to do? Or at least like a wink, wink, this is what you might, not telling you got to do this, but typically this is what happens, right? What?
Out of context, which is exactly what you guys have been doing.
So what is it? Can you tell me what that tweet was if it wasn't advice?
It's not advice. What it is it's okay. It's saying that this is the most extreme way to do things. Okay. Here's the quickest.
Okay, that's advice. Here's the most extreme way to do things. Here's my advice. Blah blah 6.7, 0.8, 0.9. That's advice, bro. What are we talking about here?
This path to, if I told you this, look, if I said the quickest way for you to make $1 million,
that sounds like advice,
is to go.
Yeah. The quickest way to make $1 million, do these 6 things. By the way, this is not advice. Just like lawyers speak. This is not financial advice. Proceeds to give financial advice to not get sued by somebody that invests in that exact manner you just told them to. That's like what all the finance channels on YouTube do. By the way, this is not in any way financial advice, but here's how I've been trading. Don't do what I do. Cool, can't sue me now. And then everybody proceeds to do what that person does.
Is to go steal it from the bank or goes to steal it. Does that mean I'm telling you to go steal it? If I tell you to go fucking jump off a cliff, are you going to go jump off a cliff? Right, by the way, here's the other thing is I'm also responding to Dr. Richard Reeves in this as well.
Okay, there's a lot of context about it, sure. All the rest of the lists, you're equating vasectomy to lifting, game, play to your strength, resisting.
Someone said the Manosphere is imploding. It was only a matter of time when so many bozos that don't deserve to be here start spouting off advice. And because the way the algorithm's set up, like Fresh and Fit basically blueprinted an easy setup to get views. There was another podcast that copied them. I don't know who it is. We'll watch that off Abba and Pre. It's like some Fresh and Fit, like wish.com discount, and it's super cringy. We'll get into that later. But yeah, when you allow, I'm not even say, will you allow? You're free to say whatever you want. But when you're such a, I'll be nice.
Beta!
And you try to get into this sphere and give men advice on how to fish when you've never caught a fish your entire life, it's just pathetic. And it just ruins the credibility of everything. That's why I don't want to associate or be associated with, quote, red pillars, dude. This is the lifestyle I lived. Here's what I learned, period. That's it. No, it's not whatever podcast. It's some other shit.
Up on easing your focus. The rest of it sounds like general advice.
Okay, well let's say so let me ask you. So is it the vasectomy part that's throwing you off?
Really genuine good advice, right? The rest of it.
Is it the vasectomy part?
Yeah,
do you agree with pretty much everything else except for the vasectomy part?
The first 3 is weird because then I don't even know what the red pill idea of a high value man is. Is it just being rich? Like, what's the point of having all this money and not having a family? Why be that rich? The guy who's always grinding. Whoa, Brandon Carter doesn't have to do his laundry. Sick. What else are you going to do with your life?
Right.
Nailed it.
Maybe this is actually meant so that you'll get it. You'll have a freaking epiphany about how all the shit that you have to sacrifice to get to that in the first place. What are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to live the kind of life, let's say like a Brandon Carter is, where you're going to outsource your entire life? Or are you going to actually have kids? Is that something that's a priority?
I mean, you can do both technically. I have friends that have done both. Accidents happen. You have kids young, you make it work. Is it harder? Yeah, you're turning the dial up to an 11. It's not impossible. Doesn't mean you shouldn't. What if you're 23 years old as a man and you meet a woman who shares your value system and she would like to have a family and kids and you vetted her, she comes from a good family? Are you going to say, nah, can't settle down, can't get married, can't have no kids, got to become high value, got to do this shit, got to make it in life. I'm going to outsource getting my dishes washed and my meals prepped and all this shit. Sorry, sis. See you later, though. This is just a phase I'm going through right now at 20-some. Can't lock that down. I mean, you'd be fucking dumb. Are you kidding me? Most men do all this, all the striving and struggling and the self-improvement and all this to have a family. Every man here knows and understands to be a man is to be leading a family. That's one of the pillars of manhood. Ryan, thanks, bro. Sorry, is at work meeting. We're witnessing young versus old red pill. I'm not sure what the hell we're seeing at this point. I don't know what this is.
For you, because I will tell you right now that if you follow this kind, if you were to actually follow this list right here, that is the fastest way for you to get to a point where you are more high value, right? But here's the thing. So when I say that, people go, well, that's not what a high value man is. A high value man is what I define it as, which is he's got to have.
Yeah, bro. Of all the things I've accomplished in life and all the money I've made and all the crazy stories I have, none of that compares to having a family. And maybe it's a thing of you want what you don't have or whatever. But at the end of the day, me and along with other friends in my inner circle, we all say the same thing. All of us are successful in varying things. All of us have achieved notoriety or fame. Some of them are really well-known people, and they all say the same thing: family, family, family. Do you have a regret? Or do you have something you're working towards right now? Family. Family. I wish I would have had kids younger. Wish I would have settled down and had a family. Most men say shit like that. Some of us are holding off because we want to have our finances right, because we can't stand the sight of struggling with a family. Some of us are struggling right now as we speak, trying to get our footing stable in the world and then have a family. So some men are smart and just waiting. But the answer is always for a family. I want to be able to lead it. I don't want to worry about what school my kids go to. I don't want to have to worry about putting food on the table. I don't want to have to worry about telling my wife, hey, we got to cut back this month because we're going to be a little short. Most men don't want that to be a fucking problem whatsoever. You want your relationship to be running smooth. Most people divorce. Money's one of the main reasons. A man just understands the pure logic in that. Got to make enough money so that my child and my woman don't got to worry. You know? Seems like common fucking sense, dude. But then you get into some of these spaces and it just gets completely lost on its head.
He's got to have a good, loving, devoted wife. He's got to have 3 or 4 kids or 10 kids, depending on whatever culture you're talking about. All of this stuff that makes up whatever that person who happens to have that is, then that's suddenly the definition.
Alex thinks the only thing I don't regret is my 2 girls. They keep me in check and perspective that no RP guru can give. Family is amazing. Preach. 100% agreed with that.
Of what a high value man is. So what I'm saying this is the best way to become a high value man. I'm not saying this is the only way to become a high value man. I'm just saying that this is the fastest way to go and do something like that.
We've been talking a lot for 5 minutes. What is your definition of a high value man?
It doesn't matter. That's not what I was talking about in this.
Again, the fastest way to do this, that's subjective. There's way too many variables to call this the fastest way, as if there's some like framework or path you can follow. Here's 6 bullet points. Typically, this is how you do things. No, that shit's irrelevant. It depends on the man and his skills, the skill set. That's really all it is. You can have a family young as hell. I've known people that had their first kid 19, 20, successful, making hundreds of thousands, grinded, turned into millionaires, sold their businesses off by the time they were 30. It depends on the kind of man you are. Some guys can handle and shoulder extra burdens, if you want to call it that, or responsibilities. That's what it is. Others can't, and they'll fold. Maybe your start in life is a lot lower, so you can't handle putting another mouth on the table to feed. Other guys can. There's no typical way to do this. You could have been a complete tard in life and invested in Dogecoin and became a millionaire overnight. I mean, we live in a crazy ass world, dude, where you can make money in the most insane ways imaginable. This whole notion of like being a company man and don't have kids and grind out 100-hour weeks at the company, and you got to do this a certain way and then ask for a promotion like that. And like that's his boomer take on the world. And that's what you would technically need to do in order to climb your way up the corporate ladder the fastest without being tied down by any responsibilities. But the world's changed today, man. It's not like that anymore. The internet is a powerful tool, dude. You can like slingshot your way through life and success with like completely different paths, unavailable and unheard of to people like Rolo's age. That's really the truth. So those 6 points are technically irrelevant.
Matter.
Isn't it literally what you're talking about? That's what the front of the first part of the tweet is: how to become a high value man.
The fastest way to become a high value man is to recognize the fact that you've got sacrifices to make. Okay.
So like what is that? Telling like stories.
And again, so sacrifices to make. Isn't that also subjective? Especially, say, in the culture you're in? Like, do you consider a family a sacrifice, or is that a necessity of being a man? It depends. See, this is the Western mentality. We're also not thinking about like how culture plays a role in all of this. You know, others would look at you, whether you have, you know, if you have a ton of money and you're 40 years old, but you don't have a wife or kids, they'll look at you as a failure. Like you failed in life. You may have a bunch of material possessions, but the culture they're from, the value system they have may look at you like you're a sad, lonely, poor man. You don't have the real richness in life, which is the family.
From Vietnam, like just say, what is a high value man? It's the first part of the tweet. What does that mean?
You tell me what a high value man is. Because here's the thing: is it doesn't matter what I'm going to say is a high value man. You guys are fucking
because it's your fucking tweet.
It doesn't matter what I say is a fucking high value man, because everybody takes this. The point of the fucking tweet is that everybody is going to take this and then insert their own definition of what a fucking high value man is.
What if a high value man is having 12 kids when you're 16? Then your tweet doesn't work, does it? What if your definition of a high value man is being getting into a trade and having 5 kids by the time you're 22? Then it also high value man is being an esports professional.
You're absolutely making my point for me right here. Okay, this is what I'm saying.
My point is a high value man. You gave a list of 8 things. Do these 8 things to become a high value man. Do 1 through 8 to become A, and you're not defining what A is.
The fastest way to becoming a high value man is these things.
What is that?
Okay. So here's the thing. So if we're talking about family creation, we already talked. Okay, so you want to go? Okay, let's go one by one. You want to go one by one? Okay,
no,
so
I want to go before one by one. What is a high value man?
We can't have an argument if I don't even know what your definition
is. The very fact that you're even asking this in the first place is the actual point of the fucking tweet. Okay, so if you're going to be a high value man with the fucking hands tied behind your back, then what is that?
What is a high value man? So he just said it there. If you're going to become a high value man with your hand tied behind your, what is it? What is a high value man?
What does that mean to you? That's the point. This whole discussion is the point of the fucking tweet.
The point of the tweet was, you've got some conception of a high value man. Here are 8 points that you think you need to do to get to it. And now you've gotten blown the fuck up on the vasectomy thing, which you probably realize is fucking retarded, but you're too old and stubborn to walk back from it. That's the point of this conversation.
I'm not too stubborn to fuck.
Nailed it.
Right, can walk back from it, because the point of it was to get douche nozzles like yourself to fucking have this conversation in the first place.
How old are you, bro? Douche nozzles?
Yes. You guys are fucking idiots. Why do you guys come in here from fucking...
Dude, this is such fucking... Wow.
Beta man. Beta.
You can't get any more low energy than that.
Twitch strat, like how you guys are legitimate in all of this, I don't know, because everything I've heard come out of you guys' mouth is just fucking confident ignorance. That's what I like from this.
Oh, so how are they in this space? So now gatekeeping. Okay. So he's the only authority in this space. Grandpa Pill over here. Okay.
No, Myron. Okay.
Ryan, thanks. The term high value man is so overused. LMAO, just don't be a loser. If you have time to watch TV, then you have time to work more and earn more money. be someone others in family can count on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not asking you like in terms of the debate. You call yourself the godfather of the red pill.
You call myself the godfather of the manosphere, okay? Other people have called me that.
Okay, great. That's very...
What is happening? Bruh. Oh my God.
Do you understand?
Okay, so as
godfather or grandfather of the man, which one is it?
Whatever it is, the old guy of the manosphere.
Grandpa Pill. Oh shit, he called him the old man.
What is your definition of high value man? This is the number one talked about topic on all of these shows. So I want to get a clear definition from you. What is it?
Can we please?
You tell again. It depends on the person. It depends on the culture. Depends on the. So here's the thing. Let me tell you. Maybe I can explain this to you, Sneeko, because at least you got it.
Okay, just a thought. This is a predominantly American audience or Western audience at large, living in a capitalist-based system, fascism, whatever you want to call it these days, oligopoly, corporatocracy, give it whatever fucking name you want. Capitalistic system. And we're going to assume that you're talking under those pretenses. Okay, so in our society, what is a high value man? Why do you keep defaulting to, well, it depends on you? Well, no, we want I would like his definition. Forget the rest of the world, forget other cultures, forget all that. The main audience here is probably American and by extension the UK, English-speaking countries, Australia, etc. So in Western, English-speaking, capitalistic countries, what is a high-value male? Personally, to you.
Got your ears open here. The thing is that when we're talking about what's the top G, what's a high value guy, you probably haven't heard this because you don't read my stuff and you don't watch my shit. No. But I've also said this is like the red pill has to be for everybody or it's for nobody. So if we're looking at a guy who's draped across a Lamborghini and he's got hot chicks with him and we say that's what I'm aspiring to, but I'll never make that because I live in a fucking fishing village on the coast of Chile, right? That means I can never match that high apex of a high value guy.
The guy in the car?
But the guy who happens to live in those villages or happens to be in a different culture or in a different country or whatever else, he can still benefit from that because however he's defining himself as a high value man in his fishing village, maybe that's what he can aspire to.
It has nothing to do with Chile and the village in the car.
See, here's the thing: is you guys want me to say, okay, a high value man makes $100,000 a year. He's fucked 50 chicks. He's got like that's the thing. That's
not what I want you to say. I disagree with that. I'm asking you because I come on this all the time.
Disagree with it. What I'm saying is the point of the tweet is so you will ask that question.
I'm past the tweet. I'm past that. Look, I'm asking as somebody who's really interested in the red pill. I listen to a lot of this content. I want to know what your definition is because if you have a definition that's completely off of what I think it is, then I guess I'm not red pill.
Well, here's what I think a guys ought to do. Would you like me to give you some prescriptions? Is that what we're trying for here?
No, I want to.
Bro, answer the fucking question. Ryan, thanks. I like the quote red pill, but a lot of men / friends can't separate the bull from the good advice and they follow these idiots like it's the Bible. Watch Rollo holding frame. He couldn't get laid with money. Yeah.
To know your opinion of a high value man. What is it?
I think a high value man is whatever is contextually makes that guy a high value guy in whatever culture that he happens to be.
Jesus Christ, the word salad and the dancing around an answer, dude. I feel like we're watching one of these nutty leftist like freakouts where you ask them to define what a woman is or some simple ass question like that. It's whatever you want it to be. It's your truth.
If that's money, that's money. Right now, that's what we tend to focus on right now. But if I'm going to say that,
value man is a guy that has the things that makes him a high value man.
All right, the things that make you a high value man. Okay, what is that? You know, we've been trying to. We're never going to define it.
Just kind of because here's the thing: when I read the tweet, I interpreted it right with a higher step. Like he's listing things that if you follow these things, right, and you actually follow them, you're probably not going to become a fuck up, right? And to be a high value guy, I would say it's a combination of things. It's obviously having your money on point, having social proof and status, having respect from your peers, having a network of other high value men, right? Which I agree with Kevin Samuels on that, being fit to a degree. If you have all these things in place, you'll be considered a high value man by most people in most societies, right? If you have these things in place. Now, with that said, to get there, right, you obviously have to focus and get your shit together and make sure that you focus on getting there. What he's saying is all these, the list of things that he mentioned, if you follow them, it's going to mitigate your risk of becoming a fuck up and not getting to that point as quickly as possible. And I think that's so important, is that this tweet kind of gets taken out of context. He's saying the quickest way to become a high value man, avoid and do these things because you're limiting distractions. And he's using Brandon Carter as an example where he's in a monogamous relationship with a girl. He outsourced a lot of his things. Why? So he's able to focus on making more money. He's getting rid of obstacles. And I think that tweet demonstrates that.
Yes.
You're getting rid of obstacles so you can become a high value man in the quickest possible way. Now, I know the most controversial one is the vasectomy. Though there's other ways to get the same, I guess, effect from vasectomy. Let's say you use a condom. Let's say you pull out, whatever it may be. He's saying, okay, if you get the vasectomy, then we know for a fact you're not going to have children.
Yeah.
It's really no different than having a condom or pulling out or whatever it may be. The point is to not get a girl pregnant. How you want to...
Pause. Actually really different than just pulling out or using a condom. You're not undergoing a snip. And what are the statistics on how reversible, as time passes, a vasectomy is? Come on, man. We can't equate a vasectomy with pulling out. Please. Can we not?
get there is up to you, whether it's through a vasectomy, using condoms, whatever. But he's making it retard proof. Hey, vasectomy, because I know even if you are the dumbest guy ever, you can't fuck this up.
I don't think a retarded guy could be a high value guy.
See, that's a really good point. If you have the capability of becoming one of these top tier men, you don't think you're good enough to know when to pull out or use protection or pick the right women, right? Not mess with hoochies that are after your cash. You don't think you can outsmart somebody that's after you for a meal ticket? Really? Really? If you're on your way to being a high value man, if you've been blessed with enough brains and brawn, you don't think you can tell or at least have the experience with enough women to know what to look for? Come on, man. This is wild.
When I say retarded, I mean as in stupid. But what I'm saying is that the point I'm trying to make is this list is the foolproof way, if everything is followed, for you to get your status up as quickly as...
Dude, I'll be honest. I've utilized the pull-out method in college all the time. Never had an issue. Now, I'm not saying that's not advice. Doing that financial thing. This is not advice. Personally, and all my friends, so it's anecdotal at best, okay? Listen to the latest studies, boys, on the percentages of success. Never had an issue. Had a scare with condoms when they broke. That was the only time I've had a scare. Other than that, it was pull-out game. The only time I've ever had an issue where my heart fucking dropped is where the condom broke inside her, and I swear to God, I was like, my life's over. Done. Yeah, someone said face shots, baby. Come on. Oh my
possible
God.
In your 20s.
That's not what the list is, though. Because what you just said was advice, and he said it's clearly not advice. So you're interpreting it.
He said
way.
he's joking, and he's trying
he was
to
just
provoke
joking.
people.
Like half it was just for jokes.
But I'm telling you, I started out telling you guys how I interpreted that.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Right here.
You're not wrong.
So that people can interpret it how they want,
Exactly.
which will create discussion. That's
And
the point.
And it's funny.
That's what he's saying.
He asked a question earlier. So you asked him a question. What is high value? You answered it. It's whatever you determine that to be.
No, that's bullshit. None of you guys believe that. If some guy comes on this show and he weighs 350 pounds and he says, I'm Diamond 1 in League of Legends. That's what I want to do with my life. Would you go, well, that's what you really want. You're high value. You wouldn't say that.
No, but once again, it starts in the mind. You're going to say, for example,
No, fuck no. Fuck no. Pause. Your value as a man is determined by society at large, not what's in your head. There are certain tenets you need to follow. You have to become valuable in other people's eyes to be considered high value. This is such an L take right here. Holy shit. It starts in the mind, bro. Really? That's the best you could come up with, defending him. It starts in the mind. Wow. Okay, so then what about the women that go, I'm a 10? Or I am the table. So their value is based on what's in their head. But you can look at them and they weigh 300 pounds like Gorlock the Destroyer, right? So you can look like Gorlock the Destroyer, call yourself a baddie, high value, and you got a roster, and the rest of the world is supposed to go, yeah, that's a 10, bro, clearly. Look at all the value that's oozing out of their ears. What?
that's not true, which I agree it's not true. But ultimately, you as a man decide what's high value for you.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Ryan, sounds like a chick claiming to be a 10. Yeah, exactly.
Value is probably something that's determined by society. High value? Value means that you have a worth to other people. You're just talking about being comfortable, having high self-esteem.
I agree, but the tweet...
You don't say you agree with me. I just said the total opposite thing you just said.
Someone said, I'm a father of 3 boys. Me being a good father starts in the head. FM.
I agree. And that point where, for example, people determine you as high value. However, the tweet saying high value could mean in your sense whatever that means to you.
No, it doesn't.
What?
That's what he's saying.
No, he's not. He doesn't know because he doesn't have a good definition. Because he knows if he says anything, he's gonna get pinned
You sound
down
like
on
the
it.
girls who believe they're a 10 because they
Yeah.
describe themselves as a 10 in the mirror.
If you brought
There
in
it is,
some
yeah.
loser,
The point.
and he's like, I'm high value because I'm a manager at my McDonald's, you probably wouldn't agree that he's high value.
Is that when he says high value, you're going to determine that as a man. What does that mean for you? Success is a part of it, yes, but there's success could be owning a farm or having a business. It doesn't matter. He's saying to get to that point, you need focus. Ultimately, that's what he's saying. Just be focused.
I mean, look, we make fun of the girls all the time for saying that they're 10 out of 10s all the time because they say it in their head, I believe I'm a 10 out of 10. No, that's ridiculous because society determines how attractive you are. Society determines how valuable you are.
Yeah.
You can't apply that a lot. You can't make fun of the girl, the ugly fat whale who thinks she's a 10 girl boss queen, and then also say a high value man can believe it in his head.
Well, I gave you guys a 10.
Silence. Got him. Checkmate. Done. The argument is over right there.
You have a good definition. You talked about some shit, being relatively fit, having a network of people that are very social. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that sounds like
I do, because here's the thing. For me, I will define it because that will allow you guys to see where I'm coming from when I'm interpreting the
we know where you're coming from, but we have the tweet author here. He doesn't know where he's coming from. He seems a little lost right now, so we're trying to figure out what exactly he means. But
I think, again, the tweet, I think that's the important part of the tweet is that it allows people to interpret it how they want, and which is why we're talking about it right now. The tweet did what it was supposed to do. Why would you? If I'm giving advice to people, I don't want them to interpret it how they want. Otherwise, what the fuck is the point of my message? If I'm telling
not giving advice to people, that's the whole point of this. Do you want? It's impossible. It's impossible to put anything out there without people interpreting it as follow these fucking steps. Here's your 12 rules for life, and you're going to live a happy fucking
rules
life.
for being a high value man. That's literally what your tweet was. Do these things. High value. What is the wording of the tweet? Go back to the tweet itself.
So here's in that wording of the tweet. What's the last part of that? What's the last one? Resist easing up.
The quickest path to becoming a high value man. Bro, that sounds like advice. How could you take this in any other way? Why can't you just define what a high value man is in your own terms for you personally? It's simple. Fuck society, fuck culture, fuck, all that other stuff at large. What is, in your opinion, a high value man? Done. And now the conversation can continue. What if I said the quickest path to becoming financially successful? Start a business. Do this. Invest your money in Y. Save here. And then somebody asked me, what's your advice to becoming a millionaire? And I go, no, that tweet, that's not advice. Starting a business, that wasn't me advising you to do anything. What kind of fucking logic is this? Angelo, boy, are you getting super chats through locals? They're active. Should see them. I don't see any up though. Chat's open. Oh, there they go. What the hell? My chat box wasn't moving. Sorry, good call, dude. Montana, hey, how you doing? Damn. Chat box wasn't moving. So glad I caught this on time. Sent you this. The red pill space is lost. Can't even anymore. We can't be taking advice from these old guys anymore, completely leading us astray from our true purpose. Thanks, brother. There we go. I have it. For some reason, it wasn't scrolling down, but we're ready to rock now. There we go. Found them all. Okay, cool. And then Kuya, thanks. You go, King. You're a 10-10. Manifest that queenery. Yeah, it sounds cringe, right? You're a high value man because you believe. Listen, your thoughts are important and they definitely set the tone for what decisions you're going to make and the actions you take in life for sure. And your thoughts do make the man. However, society will give you a value based on how useful you are as said man.
Up on your focus, whatever's do you want me to insert what you ought to be doing? You ought to be coding. Is that what I should say? You ought to be becoming a professional athlete. I don't know what your fucking strengths are.
You can simplify and say work hard.
Again, here's the thing. If I say, you know what, you ought to be an NBA player. And it doesn't matter if that you're 5'9", fucking stay on your focus and you're going to be the best NBA player you can possibly be.
No, that'd be terrible advice.
That would be absolutely terrible advice because this isn't fucking advice. That's why. Okay, this is a list that is.
That is advice. It'd just be terrible. He just said it. That'd be terrible advice. What is happening? He just literally said that would be terrible advice. Therefore, I'm not giving advice. You are advising people. Just not the best. You told people to get a vasectomy, or that a vasectomy in your 20s is a good decision to make in order to get high value. That's advice, bro. And then again, as a content creator from this angle, anything you say on Twitter or anywhere, period, is going to be taken in by your followers, whether you like it or not, as advice. You should already know this. Your words have an impact. Have people not learned from Tate and the way he changed up on how he spoke, after the whole canceling? It's called influence. You have it. People listen to what you say and they take everything you say as potentially advice. How many years have you been doing this? Are you not aware yet?
Meant to get so you get an idea of what the fuck it is that you're going to do so that you can become that high value man. Protect yourself.
This is like listening to chicks talk about, I hate to even say this. Oh my God, dude. Why? It's like I'm a Capricorn in retrograde, astrology all over the place, dude. This is what it sounds like, a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of dudes sitting down. Imagine this, man. Imagine looking from the outside in. Forget that you know any of these people. This is the first time you've ever tuned in to watch this. It somehow came across your feed. There's a bunch of dudes arguing what a high value man is, and they cannot come to the conclusion of what a high value man is. If that does not describe how weak society and men have gotten, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what else could be said about that. Imagine. Manstrology, somebody called it. Yeah, the red pill's becoming manstrology. That's what it is. That was a good one.
Don't get married. Avoid family creation. Vasectomy. Again, this is over the top shit. Anybody who knows anything about my material, when I throw this out there, they know this is over the top shit.
What else on that
list? The fucking fire for douche nozzles. Like
what else besides of
Shapiro?
I don't want to be a douche nozzle, but what else?
Yeah, besides number 3, what else here is over the top?
Besides vasectomy.
Well, live consistently, okay? Well, what if, some people will say, well, that's vanity, right?
Myron, there's no way you agree with that, saying live consistently.
Hold on. For Rolo, it might be. Okay, to be fair.
Guys, see, here's the thing.
But you're missing, are you not hearing anything he's saying? Do you need to blindly agree with him? Because nothing he's saying is making any sense.
Bro,
it's not making any sense to you because you don't understand the fucking concept of the tweet. That's why.
I was lifting consistently extreme on that list. Dude, he is getting diced right now.
You can't even thoroughly
understand what okay, let me hold stop here. Did you understand what I was saying about Brandon Carter?
Yeah, he doesn't do his laundry.
No, but he's taken everything to this extreme level. It's like to a lot of guys, Brandon Carter's not a high. Okay, would you agree with me that Brandon Carter is a high value guy?
Sure.
Okay, you know who wouldn't? Ben Shapiro. You know who wouldn't? A lot of other people, because they think that they're living out their own high value ideal. Do you understand that?
Context.
Like the 350-pound esports player is living out his ideal of a high value man.
Yeah, whether or not that's working for him is irrelevant to the fucking tweet. When I say, okay, when I'm talking about Brandon Carter, you say you understand that. He's taking...
Ryan, thanks, bro. I recommend they all take a class on stoicism. And Amok PvP, thanks, brother. Imagine someone got a vasectomy because of his advice. Listen, man, the bigger the reach you have, simple things like that 8-point list, there's somebody somewhere that's going to be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take his advice on becoming high value. You can't sit behind that wasn't advice though. I was just saying this is the fastest way to become high value. That's bullshit. You know that's bullshit. Why can't you just walk that back and say, yeah, I was giving advice, the vasectomy thing. This whole thing could have blown over and it wouldn't have spilled into this shit fest if he would have said, yeah, this was the advice I gave, just a forethought, wasn't really thinking, quick Twitter type. Vasectomy may not be, the best idea for a young man in his 20s. Maybe practice abstinence, maybe practice using condoms or other forms of contraception. And here's what I really think a high value man is in my own words. Boom, done. And the conversation would have moved forward. It wouldn't have spilled over into this. And the conversation would have been far more productive. Instead, we're refusing to move from this whole stupid ass advice versus not advice and what a high value man is. Unreal, dude. You've completely came out looking like a clown on this one. Yeah, it's the ego. It's the ego, baby. Got to read that Meditations.
It to like this extreme level.
How was Ben Shapiro not a high value guy?
Like stay on top of like his for Brandon Carter.
And Montana, after all this time, I realized I don't want to be like these guys. They indulge in degeneracy and give terrible advice. Same with all these other popular influencers. Yeah, most of them are, unfortunately. And you know what? It's rewarded because the more degenerate you act, the more shocking the content, the more views, the more money. It's financially incentivized. You become more popular, you get more influence. It's not hard, dude. You can book right now. I could book a ticket to the Philippines for a month, be surrounded by a bunch of hot chicks, sitting on a beach, renting out boats, doing all this shit, everything's super cheap, make videos day in and day out of some like degenerate 30 days. And people would tune in and love that shit. But that's not what I want to do. That's not the values I want to espouse. I don't find that shit interesting. I've worked all those kinks out of my system. I'm done with the partying, the nightclubs, the drugs, all that shit. I've already done that, been there. All the fucking crazy shit in Vegas, all the events, it's over, bro. Once you go through the motion and you get into the mentality of been there, done that, you want something far more real out of life. Something more fulfilling than just waking up with a new chick every day. I don't know. I guess, it's like telling a man that's dying of thirst, and I've used this analogy before, in the desert, to not worry about the water. Until you actually experience it, it's really hard to tell you not to go in that direction, because every boy grows up wanting to be like a playboy, have 10 different girlfriends, drive $1 million cars, all that shit, And once you actually experience a taste of that lifestyle, you see it's really empty and it doesn't actually fulfill you in any deep way. It's fun in the moment, yeah, while you're having sex, while you're hanging out with these chicks, and then you wake up the next day, they leave, you want them to get out of there, after you bust your nut and get your clarity. I want to just be left alone, dude. Or you want the next hit, it's like a drug. The next woman is your next hit, your next high. It's the chase that you like. It's not even the people anymore. It's an empty life, man. I'm telling you, I took that L for real in life. And others would call it a W. Yeah, life with no purpose gets boring. That's a perfect way to put it. That's what it was. I had a purposeless life. I was just, quote, having fun in the moment right now. Hedonism to the max, because that's what I thought was high value. That's what college and hookup culture and the culture at large, the media, was telling me is a high value man. You open up Instagram, you see dudes surrounded by tents, surrounded by cars, draped in jewelry, all this shit. Bro, that's, broken and hollow. That's what those people are. When I look at people living that lifestyle, I can tell they're empty inside. They have nothing going for them. You're soothing yourself, your emptiness, that black hole in your heart. You're soothing that shit with material possessions and with pussy. That's really what it is. Why do I know that? Because I was there. I've been there. That's what the lifestyle is, dude.
What do you think Brandon Carter's definition of a high value man is?
Probably the same as mine.
Which is?
Determined by society. If you have respect from your community, then you are a high value person. If people respect you. So being pro-social and having.
And that's a good way, Marshall. If you have to have a vasectomy to not have your wealth stolen because of irresponsible behavior, you're already behind in the game. Enough said.
People like you, and depending on
I know you don't agree with him because he's Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro is definitely a high value man.
Okay, but
universally accepted high wire. The dude owns a media empire. He's worth millions of dollars. He was a successful lawyer. His wife is a doctor, if I'm not mistaken, and they have children, and they're happily married. He ticks all the boxes besides being a 6'5" Chad with like a bulging abs. That's it. You don't have to have an insane physique to be high value. It's just having an insane physique can give you high value. What are you talking about? What is going on with these definitions? If Ben Shapiro, check this shit out. If Ben Shapiro is not considered high value, what the fuck does that make Rollo? His media empire crushes yours. His reach and fame crushes yours. He's more recognized all over the world. He's had more collaborations with bigger names than you. He's doing his job in the online space much better than you are. And he's younger than you. And he got farther in life than you did. If that guy's a loser, if that guy's not high value, what the fuck are you in comparison? Do you see how insane this is? That's wild, bro. Like the hypocrisy here. Wow. Like to not be able to see how you make yourself look worse calling Ben Shapiro not high value is absolute, like so short-sighted, wild.
Okay, so let's just say let's say
he does. He said so.
You don't think Ben Shapiro's a high value man?
Let's take do I think he is? I don't think he's a high value man.
Excuse me. Okay. This is why this entire space gets clowned on by mainstream. This is why it's all a joke. This is why it never will get taken seriously. This is exactly why we got the grandpa here, the Godfather, whatever fuck people call him, can say some shit like this. Not measured whatsoever. Makes sense? Nobody. To nobody that has half a brain. You can't even, you refuse to define high value in your own words, yet you can call somebody on the level of Ben Shapiro not high value. So there is a definition here, but you're not telling us. And apparently he doesn't live up to your definition of high value. What a golden take. Holy shit.
Wait, what is his definition? He owns his own business. It's like one of the most successful alt media platforms in the world. He's married his fucking young sweetheart.
Right. You know who else is not a high value guy? Elon Musk. Let's see.
Oh my God.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah. Bruh. You are.
Bruh.
On what planet is the richest man in the world not high value, bro? That dude makes more money in a half a second than you've ever earned in your entire life. What is happening? What is happening? Oh my God. Oh, Ryan, what bothers me about this advice given is that Rolo doesn't even follow his own advice. He's got a family, LMAO. Imagine that, dude. Elon makes more money in a microsecond than we all do in our entire lives. You know that shit? Like, the difference between us and that guy is stupendous, bro. Maybe some of us here might look better. Maybe we got a better body. Maybe we, have more game, a better personality. But that guy is far above any of us in value, period. Just on by how much he maxed out financially. He's literally at the top, max. There's no higher than it. You have to be like a royal Arabian family that controls an entire country's oil to be higher than him. That's it. Holy shit. Unreal. Astora, thanks, brother. Rolo doesn't understand the definition of the words he's using. Such a clown show. Yeah, man, it's like the leftist stuff where they redefine the meaning of words in order to make their own point. Holy crap, man. What's he smoking? For real. They must have that good stuff where he's living. Shit.
Who else? Jeff Bezos. All you got.
Oh my God, not even Jeff. Elon and Jeff don't pass the test.
Do is just all you have to do is look at the decisions they've made in their personal lives. Okay, how are we going to?
What? We have to look at the decisions they made in their personal lives. Great, bro. Started a company, became the wealthiest first and second wealthiest man in the world. Has absolute abundance of women on beck and call when needed. Owns multiple companies. Has arguably set humanity forward. Invented shit. Not inventors themselves directly, but had the wherewithal to create companies, bring teams together, people, the right minds, and invent shit. Managers. Fuck. One of them got divorced. Still the second richest man in the world. His wife took like half. Still the second wealthiest. Unreal. If these guys don't satisfy... Yeah, and Bezos got jacked. He went up on the sauce. Now he chills with his model girlfriend, and on his God knows how expensive his yacht, his mega yacht is. Dude's cruising the world. Imagine you're Jeff Bezos, bro. Can you imagine this shit? Can you imagine? You just whipped out your phone. Somebody sent you this shit. You're Bezos on your fucking $1 billion yacht. And you're watching this video of some dude in a fucking hat with them cheap ass guitar behind him talking about that dude ain't, Bezos is not high value. Look at the personal decisions. While this dude's getting the Gluck 9000 from supermodels on a $1 billion yacht that he probably flew in with a private helicopter, that he probably got there in the private jet. And you're watching this shit sailing to like Sardinia somewhere, chilling on the Crete Islands, hosting some private party with the world's most elite human businessmen, and is looking at this podcast, dude, just laughing his ass off. You are an ant. You don't even exist in his world. There's Pee Wee Leagues, and then there's you, the anthill. That is craziest. That's the fucking wildest take ever.
To define that. If I'm going to define that,
you haven't. You're the only one who hasn't defined it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the one defining it for fucking Jeff Bezos. I'm not the one defining it for fucking Shapiro.
Whale can think she's a 10 as long as that's how she defines beauty to herself.
Well, you guys just defined. Well, hold on, wait, Sneeko. You just defined Brandon Carter as a high value guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that.
Bro, Bezos probably has so much power, he could literally call YouTube and be like, I'm going to need you to start making it really hard for this guy to make videos, and I'll pay. How much has he earned for your company in the entirety of his channel? Great. Here, I'm going to slip you 10x that right now. And all of a sudden, start demonetizing him. All of a sudden, start deboosting his channel. All of a sudden, make that shit impossible for him to make videos. Can just straight up ban you, dude. Has connections, probably knows them directly, and then could probably start strong arm it too. The dude owns like media companies. He's just gonna write bad stuff about YouTube or whatever. He can do whatever he wants. That's the definition of high value man. What the fuck?
Fits your definition of a high value guy, but I will tell you right now that that would not fit the same definition that say Ben Shapiro would have for a high value guy, because he doesn't have his babies on point. He doesn't have this on point. He's not going to church or synagogue every day. Right. So to him, he's not necessarily a high value guy.
I don't think what synagogue has to do with high value. That's like,
because that's the way that other people would define it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
is that true?
It's not, value is not subjective. When we talk about value, we're usually talking about some sort of exchange in a market. No. Value is usually what are people willing to do or give for us.
Someone said Bezos could literally buy Rollo's channel. Bro, Bezos could buy YouTube. Are you shitting me? Holy shit. He could just buy YouTube and then ban him himself.
Certain thing. It's not defined by this. If one man is on an island with no other people, there is no value.
No, this one over your head. It's the idea of being high value.
No, there is no idea of being high value. And if it was anybody else on the show, you guys would be roasting the fuck out of them for saying that's your idea of being high value. You would be roasted. If any of the girls come here, because you do this to girls all the time, so it goes right. Like, I think I'm a 10. It's like, why? Because I'm so special and blah, blah, blah.
I say you're not special.
I just gave you Brandon Carter as an example. I just gave you Brandon Carter. I gave you. We can use any single example you want. You could be the 500-pound guy who just does esports, or it can be like Brandon Carter or the top G. Yep. Any one of those guys. The thing still applies.
All right, look.
Are you better off? Are you better off without the obstructions? Are you better off without the ban?
Everyone here has kind of a different.
Yeah, someone says he owns the network service that YouTube runs on. Yeah,
different thing. Like me, I've defined it. This is what I think makes you high value. You might have a different take on it. You might have a different take on it. Mm-hmm. I've defined it, and then I took my interpretation off what you said. If you want to get these things, and it makes sense to me, those things that you listed. But I'm seeing here that everyone here kind of has a different interpretation.
Wait, that's not true. All four of us probably roughly agree on what makes you high value.
No, we don't.
The three of us probably
Ben Shapiro said you said you have high value. I don't think
having like some amount of like physical fitness. We all agree that that's decently valuable, correct?
On some level, yeah.
Okay, having some amount of like social status. So you've got the attention of a lot of people and you're influential. We all agree on that, right? Mm-hmm. Having some amount of financial success, right? You have freedom to take care of your family, retire if you want to, even at an early age. We all agree with that, right?
Okay.
And having some level of success with your family and friends, right? We all roughly agree on that, right?
Okay.
If you have those four things in check, you're probably a high value man.
No, it's more than that. See, here's what he's saying. I can add more to it because for me, in my head, what high value is way more than that. To you, that might be important, but to me, it's not. That's not everything.
What's a key component missing from what I said?
Is a high value guy the guy that marries somebody from a foreign country and brings her over here so she can get citizenship? Because that's your family dynamic. My family dynamic is different than that. Does that make me high value or low value?
Exactly. It's going to depend on the person.
If I'm in a heterosexual marriage for 27 years and not in a polycule or some shit, like it's like some people will say you're high value because you do that. People will say, Rolla, you can't be red pill because you're married. Or you can't be married because you're red pill. Okay. And suddenly I'm blue pill because I am actually in a relationship where it's like close on her end, close on her end, and close on my end. But if I go and I talk to the top G, or I talk to somebody who's like in an open relationship, is that guy high value because of that? This is not a judgment call. I'm just saying that the definition is going to be different. Even if you have all those things, each one of those things that you just mentioned it's still subject to the context. I agree with what you said, Destiny. What I'm saying is that from within each one of those attributes, People are going to have something wildly different. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to use that for fucking blog fodder and topics to go and do, quick hit.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense what he said, and I agree with it to a certain extent, but there is a general set of principles that anybody can look at across cultures and say that's a high value man.
Hit videos on because they just want, click through rate for something like that.
What would we say about women? If we say, what is a high value woman?
You tell me, man. It's like, again, this is the definition.
Bro, this is like your wheelhouse. This is your chance to steamroll.
I don't think you understand why fucking wheelhouse is. Quite honestly, I don't think you do.
Real shit. Isn't that what you do?
Your name is the rational male.
Yeah, a high value woman is.
I don't talk about high value women, dude. In fact, if anything, I say there's no such thing as a quality woman because it's an ideal that guys have in their heads.
There's no such thing as a quality woman?
No such thing as a quality woman because guys have this. The quality woman is an ideal, but we can talk about that when I get there. But the thing is like when you're building a relationship or when you have this idea in your head, you want to know why guys get into so much fucking trouble in their marriages? It's because of that ideal. Because every guy who ever got married thought that she was the best fucking thing in the world. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got married to her. And then until he gets across the divorce table from her, and now she's a fucking evil monster.
That's one whenever you genuinely don't think that there's quality women in the world?
I think that there are women who have different attributes than others that match very well with guys. Sure, there are good.
Wouldn't that mean quality then? If there are attributes that match well with certain men, wouldn't that mean she's quality?
It clicks, of course. But the thing is like the idea of the quality woman is an ideal that guys have that gets them into a lot of trouble. That's why they're in love with the ideal, not the actual person.
If you were to define a woman of value, what would you say as a man? I think most men would say low body count, high in feminine energy and attributes, nurturing, supportive, wants children. Wouldn't that be considered a quality woman? Don't we also base a woman's value / quality on beauty as well? That's one of the main things. The more beautiful a woman is, the more valuable she is in society. Why do you think the most beautiful women in society command the highest quality of men? It's an even exchange because of the underlying value. What?
There are high value men, but there aren't high value women.
I'm not saying that I said there aren't high value men and there aren't high value women. Okay, it just depends on who we're talking about.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about, bro.
In the context, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
I get what he's saying, but
I feel like I need to do mushrooms before I come on the show. That's what it feels like. The kind of conversation.
No.
Same, bro. Someone bust out the shroomies, Jesus.
You know what it is, Destiny? Is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's why.
On any of this, and I'm surprised because you write about this all the time. You wrote a whole book about it. People they really respect it, and I have no idea.
You guys might be confused because I'm the one that says there's no such thing as a high value woman. A woman that's a woman gets her value directly from a man that she gets in a relationship with, because all women have value, but not all men have value.
All women don't have the same value.
Well,
don't even think about it. You know that's not true. If I give you a woman with 100 bodies and a woman with 0 bodies, if I give you one that's 500 pounds, if I give you one with 5 kids,
here's my thing. Okay, here's my thing, because I've said this before.
I know men must become and women are. I know you're about to do this speech. But I'm just saying there are some women that
are. Dude, Destiny's been on that pod so many times, he just already knows what's coming out of his mouth. Oh my God.
Better than others.
I wasn't going to say that. Of course. But all women have value to some level, but not all men have value because men have to build their shit up. So what I'm saying is that a high value woman
not even true.
A high value woman gets her value from being with a high value man.
I don't even think that's true. All men have value to some extent.
The metric of success for a female is being able to get the best man that they can get.
And men can build and do things. In places like China where you're limited to the amount of children, what do? They opt for boys. Because they can go out and work and fucking get jobs and shit and do things around the fucking house or whatever, right?
Yeah, the fucking 1980s. The one child policy hasn't been around since the mid 90s, dude.
Sure, but when it was grossly favoring the birth of boys because you could do more with boys than you could with women. Just the idea that like
that was a prescription until now they're facing the consequences of that.
Well, so is Japan. That's a super.
Right, I hate to agree with Rollo, but I do on this one. I'm also jaded from my previous marriage. W's are generally the same and will monkey branch if given the chance no matter your status. I agree to disagree on that one. You're still jaded from your previous marriage. That's the issue. The brutal truth is if she monkey branched, it's because your value wasn't high enough in her eyes. That's part of your job as a man. Listen, dude, there's this one Patrice video where it's not your job to tell your woman to not jump on another dick. You should be asking her to. She's supposed to realize that the value you bring to the table is so much higher than her sleeping and monkey branching with another guy that she'd be hard pressed to ever find your replacement. You have to show her that value outside of sex, etc. The reason, the brutal truth is your relationship crumbled eventually, somewhere along the way. She lost appreciation for you because of whatever you were doing. Something. There's something that went wrong on your end as a man, quote, leading the relationship, the family, where you led her astray. That's one of the cold, that's real red pill right there. That's like a cold brutality that men don't want to hear. Most red pill channels will tell you this simply. You're right, bro. Fuck getting married. Fuck all women. Can't trust these hoes. They're all chameleons. You can never know for sure. Don't get married. Don't have kids. Don't even talk to women. Just be on your own way and do your own thing, bro. That's what they tell you. They sell you on that bullshit so that you could keep coming back and consuming the content in your little rage phase. That's what it is. People aren't really ready. They're like what you're getting here is like red pill light on YouTube. Like most of these conversations are red pill light. Like you can't really have the true red pill conversations, the real ones. Because that puts the responsibility entirely on your shoulders as a man. Nobody wants to pay attention to that shit. Nobody's going to tune in and listen to you tell them how they fucked up in their relationship and it's all their fault. Please, bro. You know what's easier? It's easier to just blame your woman or the women you've dated or any woman in your life and say, you're in the right. Bro, it's not you. It's not you, it's them. It's like the same bullshit women do to soothe themselves when they go, all men ain't shit. Oh, really, sis? It's all men or it's you? Men do the same shit in reverse. All women are. It's the same bullshit, bro. You're being sold. This is all a finesse for money. They don't give a fuck about you. Ryan, you're probably right, man. Thanks for keeping it real. That's really what it is, man. I'll be talking more about this shit on the private community when we do like the community videos, the private ones. Right? Well, I'll take calls with you guys over on Zoom and shit. You can't even talk about it on here because you'll get demonetized. The real conversation and the ones that hurt feelings, because that's what men really need to hear anyway.
I mean, that's one situation. Okay, you're using China, but let's be honest here. Why does it say women and children off the boat first, and not men? Women have always had. It's a chivalry thing. But why is that? Because if you have 100 women and one guy, you can still continue society. But if you have 100 men and one woman, we're fucked.
Women are the vulnerable sex and men are the disposable sex. That's why.
Women have value inherently. So what I'm saying is this: since every woman has value, for a woman to be high value, she's got to be able to lock down a high value guy. There's a reason why women take a man's last name and not the other way around. Women, when they meet.
Yeah, somebody wrote, where was it? Stoic 666, thanks. Nietzschean, simple hack, apply existential, absolute responsibility for your choices and how you respond to situations and learn via self-awareness, and you'll be fine, fellas. There it is. That's the game wrapped up for you.
Meet each other and hug. The first thing they ask typically is, oh, do you have a man? Do you have a relationship? Tell me about your kids, etc. When two men meet, what do? Shake hands. What do you do for a living? Men are judged on creating value. Women are judged on creating children, typically. Now, are there some women out there that chase success and making money, whatever? Sure. But that is not the main goal of a female. The main goal of a female from a biological sense is to procreate. For a woman to procreate, she's got to be with a man. Typically, they want the best guy. For a man to procreate, he's got to create excess resources to be able to attract that woman. So what we bring to the table is different. And what I would argue... I
don't disagree with any of that, but there are high-value women. And there are probably high-value men.
I think a woman's only high-value if she could lock down a high-value guy. That's my take.
Okay, well, at least you have a definition for it.
That's my definition on it. Which, again, I see all of us here at the table have different opinions, which is great. But that's my take on it, like with a high-value man, a high-value woman.
No. I mean, what you want me to say is a woman who has a low body count, who is, a girl from the Amish Dutch country in Pennsylvania, who's never, known another man, doesn't have any social media. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can go with this, but again,
No, it isn't. These are like universally accepted facts. These are what men look for. When men say what their preferences are, typically a low body count woman is what a man wants it's like natural to want that as a man. There's reasons. It's built into us to be disgusted by promiscuous women. That's called value. That's men assigning value to women. Likewise, how society and women assign value to men based on our ability to protect, provide, whatever, name it. This is why we can define what a high value man is. The easiest, most visible one is a man that gets a lot of women. Why? Because we know as men how hard it is to get a woman. It's hard to get a woman as a man. So a man that's able to get a ton of women has something of value in a woman's eyes. Come on, bro. That's just the most visible one on the surface that every man sees right away. Of course, it's more nuanced, no shit, but it's definable across the board.
Those are ideals, okay?
Yeah, the other ideals are important because ideals are what we strive for. An ideal is the whole
and those ideals are also what lead us astray, which is why this list is fucking useful. That's why.
Lead us astray. Ideals lead you into a better life. That's the whole point of an ideal. It's the best version of yourself. You're never going to be the best version of yourself, but the path to being the best version of yourself.
Every guy who ever thought he found his fucking soulmate, who ended up on the opposite side of the fucking divorce table from her, had a fucking ideal about that woman.
Sure, and every man that dies happily surrounded by his family who had a
pastoral scene with everybody we're surrounded by his family.
Why does he discount the other side of that aisle as if it's non-existent? Like, this is very doomerish and like bitter. This is like, yeah, there's no other way to say it other than a very bitter take. You're telling me that of the milk, there's millions of men that are surrounded by family. Again, this is probably a product of living in the West, where we have hardly any more, what could you say? Positive ideals, where we're living under a rotten culture, a failing society, the empire's on decline, morality is all but vanished. Yeah. Imagine if your framework in your brain is so twisted that you discount the fact that there are men there that are happily married, surrounded by their family, doing just fine, bro. Oh my God, why not? Thanks for the 50, bro. And again, you speak truly. It may be hard for all of us to hear, but after hearing such interactions with your viewers, you've gained my appreciation. My apologies for the interruption. No, thank you so much, brother, for the 50. Do appreciate you.
You know what? You know that like 90% of the population of the United States doesn't die like that. They actually die in assisted living, and nobody knows about it until the next morning.
Okay, as opposed to you who was tweeting about dying in his motorbike in an accident. Okay, dude.
You said you wanted some black
metal. That is a fucking Tradcon fantasy.
Come on. Let me hit these.
Tradcon fantasy. Yeah, you see, his worldview is corrupted by literally the pond he's living in, aka the West. That's unfortunate, man. This is what losing touch looks like, guys. Look, we've covered men going their own. We've covered, obviously, how detrimental divorces are to men. We've covered child support and how terrible it is. We know, we're completely aware that it's extremely risky. Yet, despite all that, there are safeguards you can put in place. You can go to another country. I know that's more extreme. It's an option. You can protect your money with trusts. You can get lawyers and accountants to protect your assets here. And they can do it. And it could be ironclad in any court. There are tools available to you as a man that you can mitigate risk with. Yes, you have to work extra hard in the West, and you have extra risk that you can take on, but it can be done. Trusts do work. There are setups that you can, like a blind trust owned by a company, owned by a trust. Again, there's ways. So that what you're saying is not true. There are ways legally you can shield yourself financially. You can completely detach from all your possessions and your income. You can pay yourself the bare minimum, and legally the courts can't come after your money. It's a very convoluted process, and there's a lot of steps involved, but the lawyers and the accountants know how to make it ironclad. Irrevocable trust. There you go. That's one of them. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just somebody's like corrupted worldview based in the society that they live in. That's really all it is. It's unfortunate. This is what makes you out of touch when you have takes like this, where you completely discount a whole other side. And people are mentioning Hakimi. If that's the soccer player, no, you will absolutely not protect your wealth if you just put it in your mother's name. That's stupid. It's not going to work that way. I'm sure it worked in the country he's in, but if you're giving that advice here in America or the West, it won't save you. You have to have a multi-layered solution to insulate yourself.
These chats real fast.
We got another show coming up.
Yeah, we got another show coming up. I'm going to go through this real fast. All right, so we got Kid Blue RB goes, role of dodging to defining a high value man is like the LGBT dodging what a woman is. Feels like I'm watching Matt Walsh's documentary right now. You're the grandmaster of RP. You out of all people should be able to define what a high value man is.
He can't define high value male, but he could define us as douche nozzles.
All right, let me.
That's pretty funny though.
Microchip says, Myron, you're my guy, but you're giving Rolo an out. Let him stand on the chair he's standing on so he can continue to hang himself with his food.
I know you really want to defend him because
well, here's the thing.
I know you base a lot of the show around that book, but like, bro, he's making absolutely no sense.
Here's the thing. Everyone is interpreting it different.
Oh.
Obviously, I have my take on it. Rolo has his take.
He doesn't have a take, bro.
We all have different takes on it.
Okay. I feel like we're about to get into the more word salad. Montana, this is what happens when you steal girlfriends from these guys. They get bitter like this guy. Oh my God. By the way, if you guys are watching on Locals, they have a 3-hour time limit. It's about to end. We'll be continuing on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. I'd have to restart the stream and start it back up.
He doesn't have a take.
That's still a take.
That's still a take, though.
That's still a take.
Okay.
It is.
If this was some LGBT shit or some woman shit, we would be all laughing and roasting the planet. Rightfully so.
Yes.
If a woman came on and we were like, what makes a woman high value? And she's like, well, if she's in her moment and if she's girl bossing it up as hard as she can, that's a high value woman. Like we would be roasting.
That's the same argument he's making right now.
What I'm saying. That's not it's fucking apples and oranges. That's the problem with all this shit. Is like you don't even fucking understand the nature of the tweet. That's why.
Because I'm asking you a specific question, you can't answer it. Ask if it's advice. It's not. It's a joke. It's not.
Because the minute. Okay, here's the thing. Here's a high value. Let me give you a high value man. A high value man goes and fucks as many chicks as he possibly can, as many women as possible, and he fucking finds one little needle in the haystack, and he wipes up that girl because she happens to have no body count. She's like 100% in love with him, and I can go and rattle off all these extremes, and you know who's going to disagree with me? Every fucking guy in fucking Daily Wire is going to disagree.
Say what you really think. Don't say it ironically. Say what you believe.
What I'm saying is what I believe here, okay? This is the whole thing. It's the point of the fucking tweet is that it's your fucking definition of what it is.
You keep saying that Ben Shapiro. You said Ben Shapiro's not a high value man. So you must be comparing him to some standard in your head. You said Bezos is not a high value man. You said Elon Musk is not a high value man. So there's some standard in your head that you're comparing these guys to that they're not matching up to. What is that standard?
Right. Well, all you would have to do is look at their personal lives so you would understand this. Again, do I have time to go and enumerate all that? No, I don't. But if you go and you look at what they're doing, look, let's just use Elon Musk for a second here.
Well, let's use Ben Shapiro. That was a good example. Ben Shapiro.
We can look at Ben Shapiro. How did he meet his wife? Do you know how he met his wife?
Did they grow up
arranged, right?
Was it an arranged or family friends? I don't know.
No, basically what Ben Shapiro did was he wore this chick down over the course of God knows like 3 or 4 months, right? He would meet the definition of stalking and being a creeper if he wasn't Ben Shapiro, right? If he didn't have his background in who he was.
3 to 4 months. What does that mean?
Basically,
what? Wear her down. So persistence. Women like persistent men.
What it means is he wore her down is what he did. He's very proud of that fact too.
Okay, hold on real quick. You seem to have a problem with this. When somebody asks you what is X, and then you go, well, it's X, you're not really answering the question. You've done this like 3 times. When you say wore her down over 3 to 4 months, what does that mean? Did they date? Did he see her after school?
What that means is he was persistent. He just kept wearing her down over.
What the hell, dude? Now we're saying being persistent is a bad thing? Ah, fuck.
Bro, that's ridiculous, man.
I will send you the video. I will send you the video.
Okay. Jesus.
What the hell? You
guys should do viewer call-ins more often. It's cute.
Okay.
And you should send your OnlyFans girls to come at me to debate me in your proxy next time.
I mean, we're asking to debate you right now, and you can't even.
Except next time, please find the girl who actually puts lenses in her fucking glasses. A little weird.
You're so triggered, dude. Are you okay?
Not very rational.
I think
his 6 foot will be the emotional male. I think
because I would consider Ben Shapiro a high value guy. I would.
Yeah, no, everybody would obviously.
But
wait, you disagree with the Grandmaster,
the Godfather? The great granddaddy of the Red Pill.
Y'all niggas trolling, man.
The Grand
Myron, would you agree with his outlook on women?
With Ben Shapiro's outlook on women?
Yeah. Ben Shapiro has literally come at you for exactly this. For everything that these guys are talking about, he's come at you for exactly the same thing.
Yeah, so
you guys did a full show on this.
No, for sure. I disagree with him on as far as like the female stuff. Like, that like having sexual experience is like bad for you, like he was trying to say. Mm-hmm. But I think objectively speaking, from the things that I listed as far as what I think makes a guy high value, he has all those things. Now, he's limited on his knowledge of females for sure, right? Because I think he only got with one girl, and she comes from a certain type. She comes from a family, and a certain family. I don't want to say because we're on YouTube, but. So I think that set her up. Yeah, cha-ching. That set her up to be a girl that would be to his liking. But the point I'm trying to make is I think Ben Shapiro's a high value guy, but I don't agree with his stances on women.
Well, the same thing with Steven Crowder right now. You guys were just talking about Crowder not too long ago. Like right up until he got this divorce and all this stuff started coming out and Candace Owens and all that.
Yeah, he's like personally a little beta, and the way he argued with his wife seemed bait off a little clip. It's not much we can take there. But even his partners that he dealt with in business said he was like a manipulative ass. That's fine though. That's still a high value man. He's like, wasn't he trying to negotiate like a $50 million contract or something? I mean, if you don't have everything zipped up tight, your life's in order, perfect on every single level, does that mean you're a beta male? I mean, come on, dude. What are we arguing here? Nobody's life is that perfect. That's insane. Are we going to say Arnold is a beta male because he had a certain take around vaccinations, or that he slept with that maid and then his family kind of fell apart? And that, like, are we going to discount his entire life work, everything he's achieved, the man he was in everybody's eyes? I mean, we can critique your personal life. We can critique aspects of your personality and your behavior and your character, but does it mean overall it tarnishes your high value, right? Like what wasn't, he said Musk wasn't high value. I'm pretty sure from what I remembered, Musk divorced, or a chick divorced him, and then they got back together, remarried, and then got divorced again. Does that completely eliminate everything he's done up until this point? That's it? He's beta male? He's low value? Really?
Guys, but I don't.
Everybody would have said he was a high value guy until now.
I think they're high value guys like Crowder and Ben Shapiro based on what they've accomplished in life. But I don't agree with their standpoints on.
Rolo thinks that if he disagrees with them, then they can't be.
You guys are like, go back to fucking Twitch. Just go back to Twitch and start playing games again. You have no fucking point. There's no point for either one of you to be on this fucking show, quite honestly.
Dumbledore has spoken.
Because here's the thing: the traditional conservative beliefs don't necessarily work in today's sexual marketplace when it comes to dealing with women.
No, we agree, but that's the reason he thinks Ben Shapiro's not high value, because he disagreed with you on relationships.
No, what I'm saying is that well, yes, I would actually agree with that, simply because.
Okay, so there's a point.
When you get called Dumbledore and Grandpa Pill and all this shit, you've completely lost the conversation. Like, this is the opposite of like owning the room, being high value, etc. Right? If we're using his logic against him, isn't him failing here just make him a beta? Period. He would not be considered a high value man just by owning his logic, because he got absolutely shredded in this conversation. Will this be a point in his entire career that he's forever called a beta, low value? Taravi, hey, both signed up on Legion of Men membership, didn't receive the mail with the confirmation. Wonder if it's just later or I missed something. Do you have customer support? Check your spam folder, brother, and then send me an email with your username. Most people receive it. It sometimes goes to your spam folder. So double check and give it like around 6 hours.
Or whatever, you also shouldn't leave. But if people are getting bored or don't like the relationship anymore, for a guy or a girl, yeah, of course you should leave if you're not like feeling anymore. Of course.
Well, that's my point, bro.
A woman won't get bored if you have a scarcity mindset.
Women have a natural abundance mindset, which is why they overwhelmingly initiate divorce and breakup. So what I'm saying is that guys need to also have an abundance mindset where they could walk away from the girl. So there's some semblance of the power struggle isn't as, I guess, polarizing, because most girls hold the leverage in most relationships and guys have no power in their relationship. And what I'm saying is that I
don't know how that's true. Like, women fare worse than men in almost every degree after divorce.
Oh shit. Yeah, we did go back. What the fuck? Hold on.
So God knows, like 3 or 4 months, right? He would meet the definition of stalking and being a creeper.
There we go.
If he wasn't Ben Shapiro, right? If he didn't have his background in who he was.
3 to 4 months. What does that mean?
Basically,
what it means is he wore her down, is what he did. He's very proud of that fact too.
Jesus.
Joe Dash, Elon going to Mars and the moon, but he's not high value.
All right.
You guys should do viewer call-ins more often. It's cute.
Okay.
Yeah, and you should send your OnlyFans girls to come at me to.
So I think that set her up. Yeah, cha-ching. That set her up to be a girl.
And you have no fucking point. There's no point for either one of you to be.
There we go. Here's where we're at.
Quite honestly.
Dumbledore has spoken.
Because here's the thing: the traditional conservative beliefs don't necessarily work in today's sexual marketplace when it comes to dealing with women.
No, we agree, but that's the reason he thinks Ben Shapiro's not high value, because he disagreed with you on relationships.
No, what I'm saying is that well, yes, I would actually agree with that simply because.
Okay, so there's a point.
Does Ben Shapiro the way what his disagreement with you, does that then at least in some way diminish him as a high value man?
No, we can disagree. I disagree with that.
I'm asking Myron. I mean, because it's Myron who says, well, he's a high value guy, but like
describe that he disagrees on the traditional relationships.
If you're gonna look at money, if you're gonna look at money, muscles, and game, okay. In this case, it's the female aspect of what makes a high value guy, right? If he disagrees with what he's not disagreeing with me, he's disagreeing with Myron.
He just said that he's high value.
He said he's high value, but except for that one part where he's saying, you know what, I disagree with his outlook when it comes to like women and how best to go about like forming relationships or whatever, the sex, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think he's a high value guy, but I disagree with his notion on how to deal with women.
Well, he's not fucking 50. He's not fucking 50 guy or 50 women.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not. He's against that, which I think is dated. You know what I mean? Again, like I said before, I think a guy could be traditionally conservative, but I don't necessarily have to agree with someone's viewpoints on how they deal with females for me to see them as high value, because I think he accomplishes all the things that I mentioned on my list of what I think makes a guy high value.
And so what you're doing is you're saying that high value is these accomplishments, correct?
Yeah, I'm interpreting it. Yeah, that's how I interpret it, which obviously everyone here at the panel has a different opinion.
I kind of agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Respected, accomplished.
Which is
we don't really have a different opinion.
I feel like our definition of high value are pretty aligned at the table.
Yeah, with us three, yeah. But I mean, again, we're looking at things differently in general.
Okay.
Because you guys don't agree. I agree with his tweet if you want to become high value in the quickest amount of time.
But you can't agree with it if he doesn't even define it. You can't agree with him if you don't even know what his definition is.
But
does he agree with it? Defined by the way he defines it.
What is?
No, but he did though. He chose what high value means to him. You're missing a point.
Thank you. Fresh is the voice of reason.
It's going over your head because you guys are thinking about 1 point vasectomy. That's it.
We weren't even on vasectomy, but that's okay. I think we come to the bottom of this.
It's common sense.
Myron agrees with the tweet that I'm talking about, according to what his definition of a high value guy is. Correct?
Yeah, he knows his definition.
Yeah,
exactly.
High value men are just like people that have high value and are men. I agree. I got it.
All right, I'll hit these other ones. We got here Viking Paradigm, ignoring the context, talking over, interrupting ad hominems, goalpost shifting, claiming it's advice when it's not. It's easy to see who's trying to control their viewers and who's not, and easy to see who lost the debate here.
Hey, you're a douche nozzle. That's a douche nozzle thing to say.
Shout out Viking, man.
That's not very rational of you.
Life, love, value. Women aren't so simple. Leave these RP dudes alone in their zone to stew. Responsibility, intelligence, and discipline above all, and are talismans of happiness for most people. Enjoy life, grind, and don't glorify.
Hey, I agree. Okay, 100%.
And then what else we got here? We got Mike Rashid. I hope y'all don't let Rolo's weird immigration comment fly by.
Immigration comment.
Immigration.
I wish I got an invite for this discussion.
I wish you got an invite for this discussion.
We should come to the round table next week.
He's not Trump.
We didn't talk about
what am I talking about?
immigration.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. What else? Anything else?
Up to you guys. Question mark.
That's it.
Oh, John.
100%.
100%. If I wanted to learn how to become a successful man, I'd go to Rolo before going to Sneeko or Destiny, two grown-ass men who argue like teenage boys.
All right, so a 55-year-old guy calling us douche nozzles to someone who's like 3 times younger, that's a mature way to argue? If that's your idea, then okay.
Wow. Shots fired.
That's just what happened on the show.
This is a great debation.
Do you have anything to say? Like you called in.
Great debation.
Where can they find y'all?
I mean, they know where to find. We plugged in that.
Go back to Twitch. There's some advice for you. That's some real advice for you guys. You guys have no business fucking being in any of this shit right here. You're not ready to have a fucking adult conversation.
I've seen you chatting more than any other name in the chats. I re-chat like whenever I stream, which is when I'm online. And
Ryan, he hates the passport bros. I could see that. Why would you need to tune into the degeneracy and the constant coverage of modern women and all this other shit if you've gotten your passport dipped out and living happily overseas? Like there's no more viewership there.
You're in there more than me.
True.
So calling us Twitch, actually I'm banned on there. I'm on Rumble, but yeah, if you want to pull the online card, then maybe get off the internet a little bit and chatting all day. Douche nozzle.
It's a lot harder when it's like 22-year-old women being ganged up on our podcast, huh? I'm sorry, Rolo.
No, I'll be happy to fucking debate you, dude. On any topic you want.
We are right now.
We just did.
No, you're talking about this one fucking tweet is what you're talking about.
Well, we were talking to the godfather of Red Pill trying to.
Yeah, and speaking of fucking tweets, or excuse me, speaking of fucking super chats, was that not you on whatever podcast the other night?
Yeah, I like to support people that go on to have a podcast.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you for at least admitting it.
Those are the only 2 super chats I sent my.
Jesse, thanks, brother. Much love to the tribe community. We're not a tribe anymore. We've upgraded a legion. We're going to piss off the soys in San Francisco. Says round 2 tonight on Fresh and Fit. Oh, they're gonna argue again. I might tune in just to see the degeneracy, but I like to react live to a bunch of these videos. When I stream, all these are live, dude. First time. I enjoy it that way. It's more interesting reading the chat and watching this.
My life. If I'm watching content and I want to know if it's red pill or not, I just
It seems like you're watching a lot more.
Every program I've ever been on. It's insane. You should get a tax credit for like watching me.
Bro, do you have anything to say? Why are you staring like that, man? Okay. I thought you'd have a rap.
It's like, no, you guys. Let's see. Here's the thing: is you guys. First of all, I've thrown out this
swear in his car after the show.
First of all, this challenge. If you guys want to come to Vegas, come to Vegas. We'll sit across the table from each other.
No, we're gonna build up your fucking dog shit podcast. What are you talking about? Come to Miami.
I am coming to Miami
next week.
Oh, cool.
You'll be here next week.
Oh my God. All right. So apparently there's a round 2 of this conversation. That'll be interesting.